Let's get started with another whiteboard breakfast. The question for today is, are you involved in your community? So first off, let's think about, do we need to be? Or should we be? Or why should we be? I think there's some principles in doing life that tell us that we should be involved in our community. First off, we're called to love our neighbor, to love one another. And that doesn't mean just people we, associate with or people we like or people that are like us. Loving one another, loving your neighbor involves everybody, especially within your community. Probably the best way to love people is to be in community with them, to serve them, to serve with them. So I think that's one really good reason why we should be involved in our community. Also, I'm a firm believer in iron sharpens iron. And, learning about yourself and how you can improve really speeds up when you're around others. When you're around other people and you learn from them and you see how they, react to situations or do life or how they learn. So I think that's another good encouragement to be involved in your community. How do we get involved in our community? I think there's really kind of three areas that you can do. Philanthropy, so community service. Community service, community organizations that are built on service, giving back to those that are in need in your community. Recently had some conversations with colleagues, and it's really enjoyable to hear like how philanthropy really is different for everybody. So some people like to serve the needy or those in their community that need help, and that might be through delivering meals, soup kitchens, food kitchens, Habitat for Humanity, helping with handyman needs or whatever it may be, or your neighbor that needs help with something that you have skills in. Helping other people is a great way through philanthropy, but also, finding and serving your interests. So if you're interested in art or sports or music, like finding community organizations that not only help others, but also, bring you enjoyment in the things that you feel called or you feel purposed to do. So philanthropy is a great way for us to get involved in our community. Another one might be community events. So what's going on in your community? How can you get out and about? How can you support the different events that your community has? Could be local sporting events, could be local, street festivals, could be local parades, could be local golf tournaments and maybe, that connects both of those, a golf tournament in your community that supports a service organization. So, getting out in your community through just what's made available by your city, by your town leaders, being around and showing your face and just being in fellowship with others in your community through events. And then I think another one would be, I'll call it business organizations. So, the iron sharpens iron, and the growth as an individual, there's great opportunities through, whether it's BNIs, mastermind groups, speaker events of maybe, national or regional speakers that come into your community. That's another way to not only be around and serve members in your community, but also to sharpen yourself and to learn from others and to be exposed to different ways of thinking or different ways of learning. So just today, feel encouraged that community involvement is purposeful. Community involvement is something we're challenged to do, and look for ways. I was thinking about which of these buckets can I be more involved in my community? Can I, and something I wrote down this past week was I would like to be more involved in my local church. So I do feel like I help some service organizations, but I'd like to be a little bit more involved in my church. I also, as a family, we each like to serve different areas, but I think it would be great if we can maybe do a little bit more serving together as a family. So that's something that we've discussed. And events, we're kind of in a season of life that we do a lot of community events, but maybe some business organizations. And actually, here's another idea. Um, you know, I don't host a podcast currently, but I know there's a lot of podcasts within our region and in our community that maybe they need guests or maybe they need support. So how could I be involved in those to support, to be around others and learn, but also to support and serve them in their mission. So anyway, just a lot of great ideas and around being involved in your community. I hope you're encouraged to get more engaged in your community. And yeah, thanks for the time this morning for this whiteboard breakfast.